right, we are live. So sorry I did not have a live stream this morning. I was feeling quite a bit of burnout, and I ended up sleeping in. Now, obviously I did not want to do that, but it's just kind of what happened. And you know what? This week we keep moving forward. I actually had a green week this week, which is pretty exciting. But also, did I do everything I was supposed to do? No, I didn't get up to live trade this morning, and that is something that I want to keep getting better at. I don't know really what's wrong with me sometimes, but I do work kind of like 24/7, so it kind of makes sense that I get burnt out. I just wish that I didn't, but reality is I am a human being who gets burnt out, and I wish it wasn't like that, but I do. So anyway, we're going to be reviewing price action for the past couple days, both for yesterday and for today. So I need to make a new folder for reviewing price action for today. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. And yeah, as well, I'm sorry there was not a market recap yesterday. And also, short form videos every single day this week. Kind of been slacking. But guys, I'm trying my best. Sometimes, even you trying your best is not good enough, but you know what, we're just every single day, every single week, we're going to keep trying to be more consistent, keep trying to be better, and work on getting everything that we want to do done. So all right, there we go. Today was August 8th 2025. If you guys took any trades, let me know. I want to hear about them. But yeah, I'm going to be reviewing basically the entire day, taking a look at exactly what happened. So guess let's start by reviewing New York AM session. So yeah, let's take a look at what happened. I guess let's just take a look at the 1 minute chart. So right when I get on is 8:30. So this is when, I get on, and this is when I get off, 11:10. So kind of this window of time here. And going into the morning, we had London lows below, Asia highs above. So that would have been interesting to look at. So London below, we had Asia above. And, we were in discount of this giant accumulation range. So kind of made sense that we would want to go run higher, at least a little bit. Right, if I zoom out, wonder if there was like any S&Ts that you could have used for bias. And maybe I want to see if we were in a fair value gap at all. So let's go out to the 1 hour. Looks like it was looks like it was just a giant sequence of gaps here, right? So from here to here essentially is a BPR. So it's kind of making sense, right? We sweep out. We had London lows here. We don't actually come back to those. Dragging ocupacity down to 30. And then we induce these lows. Once again, remember how I like to say, the best inducements happen below the change state of delivery. Well, look at that. Right, 5 minute change state of delivery. We induce all these lows. Man, it's always so much easier in hindsight though. And then we had Asia above and all of this consolidation above. That's kind of what happened for the morning. And sure, you could draw this out more specific, like maybe like you want to use only that 1 hour gap there. But I think this is more correctly drawn out as just combining all of these gaps and making this a giant BPR. Maybe even having it like this. Anyway, let's draw standard deviations. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, what up, Yasin? Yasin, how are you? Sorry I didn't go live this morning. Like I was saying, I obviously want to do everything I'm supposed to do every day, short form videos, long form videos, but sometimes, I'm not perfect, I'm human, and I get burnt out. But you know what? We're still here. We're going to review the market today. So BPR, this is BPR. And real quick, I'm just going to finish drawing this out here. So just a giant accumulation range, right? And then I'll tell you what BPR is. Accumulation, inducement of these lows, or I guess you could just call this manipulation. Just call it manipulation. Yeah, BPR. Yeah, I'll explain that in just a second. Manipulation into the 5-minute change day delivery. And then distribution. Right? All of this is distribution. So I'm going to screenshot this. So saving that. So, I guess I should also save how you would take the trade, right? You take the trade as, you could honestly take the trade as an inducement below the change state delivery. Yeah, I will tell you what BPR is in just a second. So I guess this is the manipulation right here. Okay, so I need a new name for these entries for anytime it's a flow state with inducement. I need a new name for it. Right now, I'll just call it flow state dash I for inducement. So it's flow state, but pairing it with an inducement. So flow state retest dash I. So this is on Friday, 8:15. Flow state retest dash I flow state retest inducement 1 hour 5 minute. And then this is a I have to put the time, 8:15. 8-15 flow state retest dash I 1 hour 5 minute. Okay, BPR. So are you still here? Yasin, are you still here? If you're still here, I'll explain BPR. Oh, there's 3 watching. That's a lot. That's good. Or maybe I should just call it flow state inducement. That's a way better name. Because you're not really entering on a retest. You're entering on an inducement. Yeah. So there'll be flow state close, flow state retest, and then like flow state inducements. I like that. Flow state inducement. Nice. 8:15. Or I guess 8:20. Are you still here, Yasin? If you're still here, I'll explain BPR. Alright, well, I guess you're not here anymore. Alright, let's keep going. But yeah, that's kind of cool that we had this 5-minute change state delivery, and then we had lows below that, so that's going to be high probability turtle soup, right? And then we go higher. Another reason. Okay, BPR. Okay. So a BPR is any time you have overlapping bearish and bullish for value gaps. So for instance, here's an obvious example, right? We have a bearish for value gap from here, right, to here. You see that? You see how there's a gap between the first wick and then the third wick, a bearish one. So SIBI, sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency, right? So bearish for value gap. You see that from here to here, 1, 2, 3. And then we have a bullish for value gap from here to here, 1, 2, 3. Sequence of 3 candles where it's 1, 2, 3. Okay. So the area where these imbalances overlap, that's called a BPR. So we can get rid of this. So specifically, only the area where these imbalances overlap, that's called a BPR. And so this right here is a 15-minute BPR, and it's going to be very, very sensitive. And you can see that's exactly where price reacts off of. So I use BPRs as a key level for my flow state entries. So I'll go on. So let's say that this was this is a 15-minute BPR. So then I look for a 1-minute change in state of delivery within that and a liquidity sweep. So there's 15-minute BPR. Okay, here we have liquidity sweep. This one would be better taken as a 5-minute BPR, 30-second change in state of delivery. But just to prove that you could take this, right? So liquidity sweep. Liquidity sweep. So this is, what is this? Accumulation. So all this is accumulation. Then we manipulate the low when we do the liquidity sweep. And then here's our change state of delivery right here. So once again, I would have preferred to have this be a 5-minute gap and then look for a 30-second change state of delivery, because this entry, it's kind of high. So that's something to keep in mind. But anyway, just to prove to you like how this would work, right? 15-minute BPR is your key level. So 15-minute BPR. we have liquidity sweep. And this was yesterday, actually, so we can record this one. So let's actually make this. Hey, Tiders. Yeah, ask me any questions you want. Right now, we're just kind of chilling, reviewing. We're not in any rush, to be honest, because it's a Friday. It's a Friday night. You can, ask off-topic questions, too. We're not really in a rush. We can just kind of just chill. The only thing is I need to make the market recap, but I could always film that tomorrow, so just ask me whatever. Why does the CSD form from the candle and not the closest to the sweep? So, once again, someone might tell you differently based off of what they've observed in the market, but this is also change in state delivery too, right? All of these candle bodies we close above are change in state deliveries. So, just based off of my backtesting personally, I consider all of these change state deliveries. It just kind of depends on the risk you want to take on, right? If you want to have a tighter stop loss and maybe have a more precise entry, you would take this one. But all of them, it doesn't mean one change state delivery isn't valid and one is. At least according to my backtesting, all of these change state deliveries you can still measure out standard deviations from. You can still measure out standard deviations. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this one also, right? It just kind of depends on your own personal conviction. See how that perfectly hit that high, right? So you can do any of the change state deliveries. It just depends on your personal conviction and the drawn liquidity. So sometimes they'll enter on the close. Sometimes and you trade the CSD retest or just when the CSD shows up. And I will enter on either one of those. So I'll either do CSD retest, CSD close. It just kind of depends on the context and the drawn liquidity, right? In this case, I'd probably want to take this as a 5-minute BPR and a 30-second change state delivery because that would have a way better sniper entry, right? But, I could take this as a close on the 1 minute. And so if I did, the way I do it is when I enter on a close, the whole point of entering on a close, if I'm ever going to enter on a close, it's because I'm anticipating it not to retest the change of state delivery. The whole point is I'm entering on a close because I think the market's ready to go around liquidity. And why would that be? Well, look at all these low resistance highs. Here. All these are low resistance highs. So I would enter on this close anticipating us not to go and retest the change state delivery. There'd be no really good reason to. So because of that, I enter on the close, and I normally when you enter on a retest, I have my stop loss at the low. But when I enter on a close, I just kind of enter it like I would an inverse fair value gap, where I just kind of like put it at a reasonable distance, where I don't think we'd come back to. For instance, I don't think we would come back down and completely go through this fair value gap. So that's why I put it at the bottom of this fair value gap and below this volume imbalance, right? Past that, if it came all the way back down there, it's like that's where I'd put it. Hopefully that makes sense, right? But you guys need to personally backtest this. Don't take in my advice. Go into the charts yourself, look at what makes sense to you, and take trades based off of that, not what anyone else says, because no one else is pressing that buy or sell button other than you. You're the one that has to have that own personal conviction. But yeah. Hey, what up? We got everyone here now. Everyone's here. So once again, I probably would have preferred to take this as, a 5-minute BPR, and that's one we'll look at in just a second if there was a 5-minute one, because that would be probably a lot more precise. But just to show you maybe could take this as a 1-minute change state delivery. So here's these low resistance highs here. So yeah, here's the thing, Haney. I was feeling so much burnout today. I unfortunately did not show up for my live trading window, and it's not terrible because I ended up getting more sleep, but I'm a little disappointed in myself because my goal is to show up every single day, and obviously I want to be better in the future, but I'm a human. Like, I get burnt out, and it is what it is. But yeah, I'm gonna try and really have that not happen in the future. But today, it happened, and we'll move on. We'll try and be better in the future. But the beauty of it is, right now, luckily now my week gets to be green because I didn't take a loss the rest of the week, and I had one simple trade on Tuesday, and that was a green trade. So, funny enough, that means that now my week is green. So that's kind of cool. And look at how why could you anticipate this to be the kind of the end of the stop run, right? Why would you anticipate this fourth standard deviation to be the end of the stop run? Because look at this. There's low resistance highs all through here. If the market's going to go on a stop run, it's just going to keep going. It's going to keep going through all these highs. So that would be where, the stop run would end, would be all the way up there. So you just have to understand that not all trades are going to be the same. It's going to be based off of context and personal conviction. And this is why I preach scale and trail, right? Because once the market really starts going, you can just start trailing aggressively, and we do not come back. It's pretty cool. Did you get a trade today, Haney? And Medbach, did you get a trade? So once again, you could take this as a 15-minute, 1-minute change state delivery close. So I'm going to record this as an option, not necessarily saying I would take it like this. So 15:30. Oh, I want to also mark that this was distribution, right? Yeah. I was just, I was feeling so much burnout, and obviously, guys, I don't want that to be a consistent pattern, and I'm really trying my best, but I'm also a human being, and, I'm a human, and it's definitely better than taking a loss, for sure. Like, if I know I'm out of it, it's better than taking a loss, but obviously, I'd rather at least show up to the charts, and that's something I'm disappointed about, but I'll try to do better in the future and not really miss any more days, because I think it's important to at least show up for that live trading window. Because then if there is a really easy opportunity, you don't want to miss it. You don't want to not be there and miss the trade just because you weren't there. That's the honestly one of the biggest reasons, to not being successful in trading is just not showing up, because sometimes there'll just be those really easy trades, and all you had to do was just be there and observe it. And ironically, that's one of the hardest parts about trading, is just being there to witness the trade, because otherwise you're going to take trades that you're going to force that aren't real trades. But if you can just show up most of the time and take the trades, you're going to be better off. So this would be a flow state close. This was on Thursday. Flow state close. 15-minute, 1 minute. I think FA took a trade that was like this, and he kind of knew the market was going to go on a low resistance liquidity run here. Yeah, so I'm saving that. Yeah, I caught longs in macro time. Yeah, bro, facts. Today was really easy in my opinion. Really? Man, I still have to review today. I also just want to see if this was a 5-minute BPR, and it looks like it was. So, like I said, right, this makes more sense contextually as a 5-minute BPR, 30-second change state delivery type of trade. And so what I've noticed, guys, is with flow state, the lowest model you can find that is still valid, that's going to be the most accurate one. So try and keep the models on the lowest, because otherwise you're going to end up shooting too far, and the trade's not going to work. So try and make it the lowest time frame model that's still valid. And so here, see how much more precise this ends up being, right? This ends up being way more precise on the 30-second. So accumulation, manipulation. So that's just something I could make a short form video on. I'm gonna actually write that down in my notes because that's a really important topic. Is when you're trying to frame a model, don't try and immediately try and do the lowest time frame model that's still valid within, that's still, try and find the low, because then you're gonna hit the most TPs. Hopefully that makes sense. So I'm gonna write that down. When you're framing a flow state model, try and have it be the lowest time frame model that's still valid, because then you're most likely to hit all TPs. Hopefully that makes sense. Called CVD. CVD, FA is different. CVD, you mean CSD or CVD? And we retap the NDOG one more time. Yeah, I gotta check out price action today. FA's crazy. I don't know how he does it. Okay, now let's see this. I bet you this one might actually end up going to the 8th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Once again, guys, this is a pattern I've noticed in price action. Is a lot of the time we actually only go to the 7th standard deviation and not the 8th. When it's, when I would think we would go to the 8th, we only go to the 7th. Now, okay, when you measure it like that, you go to the 8th. So I guess it kind of just depends on context, right? Like sometimes maybe you do want to measure it out like this. So I think in this trade, you actually want to measure it out like this. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then, because why would we go all the way below this body? That's cool. All right, see, that's a lot more precise way to do it. If you're a skilled enough trader, you're going to understand, like, oh, yeah, when we get this close, why would we go all the way below this body? I can just use the body to measure out standard deviations instead. Makes a lot of sense to me. We go all the way up to that 8th. So that would be, every single take profit would get hit going up to 8R, which is kind of cool. CS needs a liquidity sweep to work, right? Yeah, you need to have it sweep liquidity. Well, I don't know. It kind of just depends on your personal back testing, though. Like, for me, like I pretty much always need a liquidity sweep, but it just depends on your, the context, and it depends on context. Like, actually, I would actually say no. Like, it depends on context. The context is the most important thing. But, for the flow state model to be valid, you need a liquidity sweep. But for a change in state of delivery, once again, you're just going to have to backtest it. That's one of those things where it's like, it just depends on context. He's very good with it. Yeah, it's crazy. Genuinely crazy. Like, that was one of the things about CASD. It's just like, no one ever told me crap about how it works or how to use it. And, you just kind of backtest the market so much that you end up realizing, like, when it's going to work and when it's not. And that's just going to be a screen time thing. At least that's the way I see it. So, wow, that was just absurd. Wow. Could you imagine you got in with that? FA, how does FA use volumes exactly? So, yeah. Oh, I meant to write this as 30-second change state of delivery. Oh, one thing I noticed, guys, is, you know how we were realizing that the 1 minute aligns with the 5 second and the 3 minute aligns with the 15 second? Well, actually, I was just experimenting around and it's like, well, just common sense. What would the 2 minute align with? The 10 second, right? So from my own like experimenting, that's what I've been finding out is the 2 minute will align with the 10 second if you do everything correctly, which is kind of cool. $15.30 flow state retest 5 minute 30 second. Effie told me he hates ICT, but it's okay. He's not for everyone. His strat is insane. So 30-minute aligns with the 3 minute. Oh, that actually makes a lot of sense. 15-minute aligns with the 1 minute. 1 hour aligns with the 5 minute. 30 minutes should align with the 3 minute. You're right. I'm gonna write that down. I'm putting all the ones that are like strange time frame alignments into my phone so I don't forget them. But that's actually really useful. Thank you, Haiti. But you just kind of figure it out. Like no one's gonna tell you this stuff. You just kind of have to figure it out through observation. Like no one told me anything. You just kind of have to figure it out just based off of your own back testing. And that's the hardest part about trading is people don't really teach you anything because they're all gatekeeping. That's why I want to be different and I want to actually help people. But it is kind of crazy how everyone really does gatekeep everything. What did I save it as? I can't even remember. Oh, nope, that's not it. Oh, here it is. I'm gonna put this in my pin notes. Okay. 30 minute, then slash, and then 3 minute. It's good to know. Thank you. Yep, everyone gatekeeps. They're not gonna tell you, so you just have to. And even if you're onto something, they're gonna lie to you and tell you that you're not. They're gonna try and lead you astray. That's another thing that'll happen a lot. So that's why I say don't trust people, is because other people don't want you to succeed. So that's why the charts will be the greatest mentor. Listen to what the charts actually show you, and stop trying to listen to other traders, because once again, 95% of them are going to be unprofitable by statistics. So just look at the charts and see what's actually going on. Hey, FA, what up, man? We got everyone here now. This is crazy. So yeah, I just wrote that down. 30-minute lens to the 3 minute. I wonder how many people are watching now. Yeah, we got a lot of people here now, feels like. Yeah, I've seen T-Trades aligns that a lot for watching. Still pretty good. So yeah, I kind of want to go back to price action today. Look at what happened. So yeah, there's definitely long opportunity. One thing I noticed about today, I wasn't watching the charts, but I found this to be interesting, is look at all of our time levels, right? The market purposely reprices back below all of our time levels just to give smart money the optimal entry below 830. And then we deliver. How crazy is that? And people say time levels mean nothing. Like, no. Like, genuinely, pay attention to these time levels, because the smart money is going to get their optimal entry point below these times. And if they don't, then they're not going to enter. So you see how smart money just waited until we swept all those time levels? Smart money purposely waited. I mean, how crazy is that? Optimal entry right below all of these. And I mean, how cool is that, right? Midnight, 9:30, and then 8:30, and then we finally turtle soup it, and then we go. And then we go. And you'll see this happen quite a bit, guys. It's like all the time it'll happen. Smart money will wait. Yes, I do. Thank you, Haney. I appreciate it. It's actually pretty valuable. Smart money waited here for all the time frame alignments to get taken, and then we went. So that's something. It's like a subconscious thing that'll be used as a confluence in the back of your mind. Oh wow, we just swept out all the time levels. I know smart money's in. I know smart money's in the market. It's super subconscious, but super valuable. Smart money swept out all the time levels, then we expanded. This was on Friday. This was today. Such a subtle thing, but it makes a big difference. Just being able to observe that happened, you're gonna know, oh wow. Like, compared to this move, it's like, okay, like, this could be the move, but I don't know for sure, versus once we sweep out this time level perfectly, you're like, yeah, smart money's in on the move now. This one's gonna be the real one. You know what I mean? You're just gonna know, because why would we have perfectly swept out all the time levels? And then it started to expand. It's just gonna be obvious to you. So there we go, saved it. And watch the first presented for value gaps. It created as a breakaway gap, classic of knowing when the market is ripping. Yeah. Oh, that's another thing we should look at is how did the first presented for value gap get respected today? So this one's not the first presented for value gap because 9:30 opens with this first candle, so that's not it. So let's continue. Bang, 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 bang. So first presented for value gap. Well, is this for value gap? Honestly, no. So this is the first presented for value gap. Wow, just genuinely wow. Gets tapped, and then we just keep going. Wow. So this is one of those situations where, you know, you have to understand the context, but once again, you see that we sweep out 8:30. You see that we sweep out 8:30 perfectly, and all the other time levels as well, but 8:30 is the one that's the most obvious, that it's just like, wow, smart money just entered there, huh? So we see 8:30 get swept perfectly. We're within a higher time frame buy model, right? We had a 1 hour gap, BPR, whatever you want to call it. That was right here, 1 hour BPR. And you could even just mark this whole thing out as BPR, but here's like the true BPR right here, right? 1 hour BPR. BPR, and then 5-minute change state delivery. So understanding the higher time frame model, super valuable, because then you can see, oh wow, 5-minute change state delivery. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Whoa. The 5-minute change state delivery is right above 8:30. That's wow. That is actually a good reason why 8:30 ended up holding, huh? But then the other thing I wanted to show is, like, once again, highest probability turtle soups will be below the change state delivery, so you can see we induce all these lows. Oh my gosh. That's so cool. So we want to have the 1 hour BPR. You can make this, like, the BPR was just that entire range, but the specific one was right there. Still though, 1 hour BPR, inducement of these lows, and then, you know, just this is what I mean when I say understand the higher time frame context, because now when we go down to the 1 minute chart, it's like, okay, we know this is a buy model. So far it's holding. We got low resistance highs above. Bang, hit that 5-minute change state delivery. It's like, okay, let's say you don't get that let's say you don't get that change state delivery entry because you weren't sure yet. Well, now we just had a liquidity sweep, break of structure right here. Break of structure, and now the first presented for value gap right here. This is 2022 entry, right? And as well, it might even be at equilibrium. I don't know. Let's see. No, it's not. But still, that's why I say, like, sometimes it just does not. If we have good displacement, it does not need to come all the way back to equilibrium. I mean, you see how everything kind of perfectly lines up. The 5-minute higher time frame model, inducement of these lows, and then snap below 830. If you wanted to be really aggressive, right, enter at that first presented for value gap, stop loss, below the for value gap. There's no reason. If we're gonna keep expanding, we're not gonna stop, and then just crazy RR here. Once again, I'm not saying I'm skilled enough to catch these right now, but I do think that over time, I will get that skilled. Okay, what did everyone else say? If you're talking about 940 candle or something, I was longing there because a whale was accumulating the size of his position. There were a lot of aggressive market sellers, and they were absorbed by a limit order of a whale. I can recheck now. That's crazy. That is so cool. Wow, FA, you're a really good trader, man. It's crazy. So I'm gonna consider this a 2022 model. $938, 1P FVG, 2022, and then this is on the 1 minute. What's a whale in trading? I need to get better understanding, like how, like, the whale. I need to get better understanding the way FA trades and like understanding whales, because I think that's actually a super important thing. Like, if you can front run a whale, meaning you put your order right before where their order is in the order book, you're gonna get filled with a high probability, and the whale's kind of backing you up. You're basically riding on top of the whale, and that's what I want. I want to get good at that, but I don't really know how to understand order flow yet, to be honest. But one day, just gotta keep getting better. So 938, first presented for value gap, 2022 model on the 1 minute. And then as well, right, you could have taken this. I already talked about how this was a regular flow state model, but yeah. So flow state, I'm going to mark this out as this is a flow state retest. So let's just say you didn't take that you just say you got the early entry, right? You just said, okay, this is a 1 hour BPR, this is a 5-minute change state delivery. I'm not even looking at 830, right? Let's just say all you looked at was the 1 hour gap, the liquidity sweep of these lows. Very simple trade, right? Liquidity sweep of these lows, accumulation, very simple trade. Accumulation, manipulation into that 1 hour BPR. And honestly, I am just going to mark out the BPR how I want to mark it out, which is I want to just combine all these gaps because, I mean, That's what it is. It's still a BPR. It's just combining gaps. 1 hour BPR, 5-minute change state delivery. Accumulation, manipulation, 5-minute change state delivery. And then we also induce these lows. And then just measure out standard deviations. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once again, sometimes it can be kind of hard, but these models are happening all the time. You just have to get good enough at spotting them. And then right to that 4th standard deviation. Pretty cool. So, once again, I also said, let's say you didn't want to take this trade unless you entered after the inducement of these lows, then you'd get even better RR, 5.5, 5.67. So I call that a flow state inducement, right? You don't even want to enter unless we're below the change state delivery and we get an inducement of lows. And that would be even more of a sniper entry, but I'm just going to save this as a flow state retest. 820. Flow state retest. 1 hour, 5-minute. I have to use the bathroom, guys. I'll be right back. Okay. Genuinely, I think it's a pretty cool trade. Today was a classic Asian consolidation, London manipulation, New York continuation. Yes, oh man, that's a good comment. That is a really good comment. But you're absolutely right. Asia, literally, this is a perfect example of it. London manipulation, New York continuation. This would actually probably be a good day to take out Asia range projections. Yeah. I bet you this was a good day to take Asia range projections. So Asia accumulation. it's also a good day to practice. Like, what's better to measure out for range projections? Do we want to measure out the entire range of Asia from high to low, or do we want to measure out? Do we want to measure out including the bodies? Because the bodies, if you just measure out the bodies, sometimes that's more accurate. So you can see, measured out like that, you do not hit the low. But if you measure out the bodies, well, maybe let's measure out the 1 hour bodies. I think that's the most accurate way to do it. Yeah, see? 1 hour bodies of Asia. Right? Hit the exact low. You see that? You see that perfectly hit? I mean, you can't make that up. All people do is they just get lazy and they put limit orders there. Like, oh, well, if today should go up, I'd rather just, put a limit order 1 standard deviation below Asia. And then they end up bottom ticking the low of the day. Hey, outline the last first minute for value gap for Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and see how price is rigged. And draw them out for the entire week. Keep them drawn out for the entire week. Look how precise that is. Oh my gosh. Yeah, measuring out this from 1 hour bodies, right? So specifically this, so from 20 to midnight, but from the 1 hour bodies. First standard deviation hit perfectly. Genuinely so cool. Yeah, keep it for the whole week. Okay, alright, I'm gonna try that in just a second. Yeah, man, one of these days I'm gonna get a personal account and just, try this crap. If I hit just one of these, one Asia bottom ticks, just one day where I bottom tick Asia, you know how cool that would be? Or bottom tick low of the day. It'd be kind of fun. And what do you know? The 4th standard deviation top ticks that. Could you imagine just putting in the Discord and just marking out that you entered here and you exited here? People would be like, what the hell? How? But we know exactly how. It's just some of it's a little bit of luck, right? Obviously, this isn't going to play out the same every single day. But sometimes it's going to work. And then when it does work, you're going to be like, yo, look at me. How cool is that? All right, we'll mark out the first percent for value gap in a second, but wow, this is pretty cool. So, Asia 1 hour bodies, first standard deviation hit, or -1. -1 of Asia 1 hour bodies, and then the 4th from 1 hour bodies. Okay. It can be you. You just gotta master session profiles to be able to do that. Exactly. I'm also gonna save this. Because I want to save this template in case I ever use it again. Asia, 1 hour, bodies. So saving that. Asia range projections. This is from today. Okay, let's take a look at all the first within for value gaps from the past week, or I guess Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So first we'll mark out the one from today, which was very nicely respected, and then we expanded off of it for the rest of the day. And then let's go to yesterday. Okay, where's 9:30? 9:30. Nothing, 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 nothing there. Bang, right here. Okay. And I'll drag them all out later. I'm just going to first mark them out. Okay. 9:30, 9:29, 9:30, 9:31, 9:32. Okay. And then I mean, it's crazy the amount of stuff people will never tell you, and even they'll lie to you about, just for you to not know about it. Because, I mean, obviously a ton of stuff is true, but people literally try and stray you away on purpose. And it makes me so mad, because this is why I always say trust yourself and the charts, because the charts will tell you everything. Okay, so those Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Let's drag all those out. Nicely respected right there. Whew! Yo! That's insane! You know, TGR daily bias is literally based off of session profiles. But it's super accurate when you know what you're doing. Absolutely. Okay, this right here is really cool. I'm not gonna lie, that is really cool. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's really cool too. They're like Reaper for value gaps. Wow. Oh my gosh. They're like Reaper for value gaps, literally. Because people know the bias is bullish, so they're just like, okay, first presented for value gaps of previous days are going to be like bottom ticking it. So what was this, Tuesday? Yeah, imagine people have no idea, and then people lie to you about it, like, oh yeah, no, it's just random. People who think price is random, bro. That was random. This was random. Bro. People make me so mad. Like, stop lying to yourselves and wake up, dude. Ugh. It's okay. We don't need to prove it to anyone. All we got to do is take trades and take good trades, and the money will speak for itself, right? What day was this one? This one was for Thursday. Yeah, I'm drawing out old first presented for value gaps from the week. So this one was from Thursday. And this one was from Tuesday. And you just keep them drawn out the whole week and check that out. Pretty cool. That is actually really cool. Thank you, Hyper, for saying something about that. That's really cool. So a first presented for value gap, guys, is its own PD array. It's crazy to think about, but once again, I can take a 5-second change state delivery off of a first presented for value gap because it's a PD array, which is kind of cool. So I want to see if we had any of that. So what is this? Tuesday and Thursday, first presented for value gaps held. I know about that. Me and Jan knew about that, but I don't use it because it gets messy on my chart. That you can use 5-second change state delivery. Yeah. But still, it's pretty cool. I wonder if I went to the 5-second. One of these days, guys, we're going to catch such a banger. It's going to blow people's minds. Right? First spinner for value gap. Yeah, I would enter on that one right there. That is clean. We hit that. We sweep it. 5-second change state delivery. What? I want to take these trades on a personal account so bad. Yeah, I need to start marking those out more. What time does PM session officially start? Because I don't actually know. But I need to know. When does PM session officially start? Wait, what day was this supposed to be? $14:30. I'm gonna put that in my notes. 14:30 is the start of PM session. Okay. And can you draw those ones out for the entire week as well? Probably. I don't see why not. I'm almost certain you can. 14:30. And even if you say no, I'll probably disagree with you. Because why would you not be able to do that? 13 o'clock ends 16:30. Wait, what? Anyway, 14:30 start a PM session. It's so cool. It's so cool. What would this be? First presented for ViGap Thursday. That's so cool. That's awesome. Once again, guys, I'm noticing the set for some reason. It's kind of stupid, but why the seventh standard deviation just holds better? Why is that? Seventh standard deviation just lines up better. I don't know why. Anyway, we do end up going to the eighth. And the eighth might probably make sense because it's aligned with this consolidation. That's so cool. Once again, you can always go break even at any time. So like I could go break even right here, and then I would just never hit break even. Would never get hit. And something to blow your mind? Yes, tell me. What is your best entry criteria? CISD and 2022 gap? Yeah, I only have basically 3 different ways I enter. Either, well, I guess 4, but 2 of them are the same. Inverse for value gap, 2022 for value gap, change state delivery, and then also flow state, which is change state delivery. The reason I include change state delivery without flow state is because if it's good enough liquidity and, I can't find a good key level, but I have a sweep and a change state delivery, I'll still take it because the market runs to go run liquidity. It doesn't have to be perfect. If I don't have a perfect key level and it's still a good change state delivery, I'll still take it. So technically like 3 to 4. All those FEGs was a low time frame of the weekly candle because we were bullish weekly. That's crazy. So those first presenter for value gaps from every day will act as continuation for market maker bottom for a weekly candle. That makes so much sense. Wow. So cool. And this is why we backtest, because the stuff we learn every single day it just keeps blowing our minds even more. So cool. Oh, guys, Kane told me his strategy. I asked him. I'm gonna make this into a video because I think it's kind of cool. But Kane told me how he trades, which is kind of cool. So, 11:46 flow state close. This was on Friday, right? Yeah. Wow. 1 minute, 5 second. That's awesome. Makes sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So interesting, though. I mean, look at how this is just, a giant... it's a specific name for this kind of day. Well, obviously New York reversal, a London reversal, New York continuation, but even in the afternoon, there's a very specific afternoon profile that happened. Tonight is not saying you can trade every day, but it helps filter. Well, you can trade every day. Like there's going to be at least one. Like there's going to be more than one opportunity every single day. But the issue is, if you don't spot them, you can't force trades. That's the issue. And it's not like you can't spot them. It's just if you don't force something that's not there. That's the issue. And that's people say you can't trade every day. Sure, you can if you have an opportunity that you see every day, because there are. It's probably like over 10, at least 10 opportunities. Over 10 if you were watching the chart 24/7, probably like 20, probably more than that, but you're not watching the chart 24/7. Kind of. I briefly reviewed it. I have a video on it, but I need to get Wednesday down. Maybe I'd be down to look at Wednesday a little bit more. You know what's interesting though about this afternoon is if I pull up the Discord, pretty sure this was a specific thing that happened. It was one of these. Like this, maybe? Not really. Never mind. We can review Wednesday if you want. I'm open to look at anything, to be honest. There's nothing in. I'm just wanting to make a market recap, but I can probably, for the past 2 days, I'm gonna make a market recap, but I can do that tomorrow possibly. But yeah, just so much interesting stuff. But the issue is like, are you gonna spot it every day? Not necessarily. I think we noted that this was a Reaper for value gap. Yeah, because we marked this out. Oh my gosh, wait a second. I'm not ending the stream. I'm not ending the stream. I'm not ending the stream. Is it laggy though? It looks like it might be lagging. Oh my gosh. This first presented for value gap was also a Reaper for value gap. This for value gap had superpowers. No wonder it held. Oh my gosh, bro. It was a first presented Reaper. I use mitigation blocks, but I sometimes probably don't call them mitigation blocks because, to be honest, I still like conceptually like will sometimes mix them up with order blocks, but yeah, I use them, but I might call them like an order block by accident because, yeah, it's just an accident because I don't really know when one is which. This was like literally this for value gap was literally. This was on crack, dude. this for value gap was on crack because it was a Reaper for value gap and a first presenter for value gap. How cool is that? I don't even know what drug was this for value gap on. It was on something because there's a Reaper and a first presented. I've never seen that before. Reaper? Oh, you don't know what the Reaper for value gap is? So, this is a breaker, right? The up close candle before the move down and then a move higher. So, drop down into the lower time frame of that breaker, find the fair value gap and discount. Find the fair value gap and discount of the breaker, or even just any gap, right? I personally, it doesn't even have to be a fair value gap, and I'll notice that as long as it's just kind of like a gap, it'll still hold. But see, this is the fair value gap and discount. It's a fair value gap and discount, and it's also the first percentage fair value gap. And it's absolutely just crazy accurate. It's a fair value gap and discount of a breaker on the lower time frame. If it's a bullish breaker, opposite if it's bearish. My dad just called me. Oh. Hold on, just a second. I gotta talk to my dad. Hi, what happened? What? All right, sorry guys. My dad called me and he needed to talk to me about something. But now I'm back. Man, this fair value gap had superpowers. This was genuinely like if a fair value gap could have ate the star mushroom or the star power up in Super Mario Bros. This fair value gap is literally that. this fair value gap was genuinely the most powerful fair value gap in the world. ICT has 82 PD rays? What? So that's crazy. He just randomly drops that. So Reaper and first presented for Viagat from Tuesday. If I ever see that again, I'm full porting. That's crazy. It's pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. I wonder if I could make it green and red. He keeping it for himself and his family. Well, they all exist, so we just have to find them. But yeah, he's definitely gatekeeping some of them. Now, yeah, obviously he's gatekeeping some, but that doesn't mean that they don't exist and you can't find them. That just means I didn't tell you them, right? And that's fine. But we know that they exist. We know all the. It's like the Pokemon we gotta find. We gotta find them ourselves, and that's not a really big deal because I observe the market every day and I'm obsessed with it. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. Actually, that's so cool. What day was this? Thursday? 14/21. Okay, I'm putting this in the Discord because this is just genuinely really cool. Okay, I'm just. What happened to Monday's first presented for Viagap? Um, upcoding. Upcoding Jesus on YouTube. What? Jesus coded the markets? What? I don't know what you're saying, bro. But I mean, that's a pretty cool conspiracy theory. It's a pretty crazy conspiracy theory. But maybe. That would be insane. Where's my phone? Is it charging or is it not? It is. Because my phone's having charging issues right now. It's kind of annoying. Monday price action was whack. I didn't take a trade on Monday. We should look at the first minute for value gap for Monday. Let's actually go all the way back there. So this would have been Friday, Monday. Yeah, Monday was interesting. Let's see how the market interacts with the first minute for value. Honestly, guys, just full port every first presented for value gap with the bias for the week. I bet you that's a profitable strategy with the tight stop loss. That's actually probably genuinely full porting the first presented for value gap with a tight stop loss in the direction of the weekly bias. That's probably a profitable strategy, and I hate that it's that simple, but it's probably a profitable strategy. Because, like, yeah, when you're wrong, okay, who cares? But when you're right, you just, oh my gosh. So it looks like this was the first one for value gap, right? Here. I don't think this ever got traded back to be honest. Oh, it did. Oh, wow. The candle bodies all respected it. That was a good thing to check. Yeah, the market's definitely interacting with this all week long. I wonder, how long do you first presented for value gaps still work? Yeah, trading on Mondays is so annoying. I totally agree. Yeah, the first presented for value gap is a nice PD ray, I'm not gonna lie. Just taking 5-second change state deliveries off of it. I genuinely wonder, how long do you guys think first presented for value gaps work? This is something we should actually look at. And I know it's kind of off topic, but will a first presented for value gap from a previous week still work? Let's look. Let's take a random one. So let's find this one from this day. 9:30. Whoops. I want to see if a first presented for value gap from a previous week works. So here's the first presented. This was that one day where we inversed the first presented for value gap, and that gave us bias to go lower for the entire day. I remember this. Okay, let's draw this out. I'm curious. Will the market remember this gap from a week ago? I actually have no idea. It's going to be a good experiment. We might need to try this out a couple times. Only last week Friday you could use. This was on Thursday. Yeah. Wait, oh, this is on the 5-minute. Am I stupid? I need to get the 1-minute one. Hey, the 5-minute one actually got respected really well there. I meant to go look at the 1-minute one. So that was interesting. I didn't even mean to look at that, but the 5-minute one got respected really well there. $9:30, 9:31, 9:32. Alright, so actually this was not the day that it got inversed. I'm thinking of a different day. 9:30, 9:31, 9:32. Anyway. Look at that. Okay, I remember this day. This was a fun day. This was just a giant cell model that went all the way lower. How long do you use NWOGs? I think I think they always work. Just the recency of them is how strong they are or how likely they are to work. I think it's like a, they fade in potency, you could say, right? The first 5 are going to be the most potent, and then after that they're just going to start fading. That's the same with New Day. I think that's for all of them, to be honest. I think they'll all always work. They just kind of fade in potency. Like if one from like 2 years ago is not going to work as well as one from last week, right? I think that's kind of how it goes. They just fade in potency. Man, this is so cool. This was literally not even. This was Thursday of last week. This is literally Thursday. What day was this? August. Thursday from last week. That's so cool. And now look at that. 5-second change state delivery off of this, and we go run liquidity. So even first minute for value gaps from a week ago. Wait, what? More, as more the day progresses, you can delete the old first presented for value gaps. Exactly. This is pretty cool, though. Can't lie. This is on Friday. First presented FEG from last week still held. Oh my gosh, you guys are sending so many much. Are there any silver bullets of 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. window this week? Isn't that just the 1 minute fair value gap that forms between 10 and 11? That's 2022 fair value gap. Isn't that what it is? It's just a 1 minute fair value gap. That's a lot. That's a 2022 model that forms between 10 and 11. I think that's what it is, right? Yeah, that the trade recap is gonna be juicy. So yeah, Hyper, isn't the silver bullet just the first presented, or isn't the silver bullet just a 2022 model for value gap that forms between 10 and 11? Isn't that what it is? I don't even know what I'm looking at anymore. There's so much to look at. What? I don't know what you guys are saying. Yeah, any for value gap between even if it's not a 1 minute for value gap. I'm gonna write that down in my notes. So any 2022 model fair value gap that forms within 10 and 11 a.m. So any 2022 model fair value gap that forms within 10 and 11 a.m. Any time frame. Is that right, Hyper? Can it be any time frame? So it could be a 30-second gap. Is that right? I guess the charts will be the greatest teacher. Let's just go and look. Let's go look here. Shaney King? Who's Shaney? Okay, let's actually look at the price action for this day and actually see if there were any trades I'd take, because I'm not sure. I think one thing you could look at is we sweep out lows here. We sweep out lows. So that's one thing I would have looked at. We sweep out those lows. I mean, you get clear break of structure many times through here. So sweep out the lows. Here we got one 2022 gap. Here we got, well, this one kind of fails. But then we have this one, holding price. And this one. And then just every fair value gap along the way is just displacing towards our draw on liquidity. That's so crazy. It's like, guys, the market moves in stop runs. Could it not be more obvious? What kind of lows were these? Session lows, maybe? Yes, sir, that's my model. Oh, first percent for value gap? Yeah. Whoops. Do you think the market racist? I think the only colors in the market are black and red, bro. So I don't know how it could be racist. If the candles were white and black, then maybe. I don't think they're racist. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I don't know what kind of question that is. I don't know. Algorithmic displacement once again. Algorithmic displacement after 2022 sweep with every 2022 gap holding. Guys, this signature should be ingrained in your head. Like, how much of the time do you guys see this where we sweep out lows and then every single fair value gap along the way ends up holding? It's just so... the market does this all the time. Imagine. I mean, I swear, guys, like, I've seen this happen so much now. It's like every single fair value gap along the way towards our draw on liquidity is just literally just orders getting filled every single spot. So let's see if there was a silver bullet gap, because now I'm curious. This is not an obvious 2022 model, so that's not a good silver bullet gap. That's one thing I'll say. But the other thing I'll say is it is a good inverse fair value gap. And I think, what's his face? Sotep took this one. Inverse fair value gap. Just to go run these lows. Nice little base hit. Man, that's like barely 1R. It was an amazing silver bullet yesterday. Okay, I'll check. 10, 12. 10, 12, IFG. 1 minute. And I also want to show that you could take this as a Jan entry, right? So after we get the 1 minute inversion, let's say I didn't like it that much, but then we get a little bit of a retrace. I'm like, okay, now I like it. I take the Jan entry. All of a sudden, oh wow, we just went from 1R to 2R. It's a lot better of a trade. I'd much rather take this. All right, yeah, we'll look at it. We'll look at it. So yeah, just entry after a little retrace, and you get 2R instead of 1. How much better is that? Like, personally, that's probably what I would have done, to be honest. If I did take that, which I don't know if I would. I'd see Jake in 1 year with a Lambo. That would be crazy. Be kind of cool. Man, I want to help everyone else get Lambos too, though. I don't want it to just be me. You can't end up like Dodgy, super depressed with the Lambo. We gotta all have Lambos. No hate to Dodgy, I love Dodgy. But yeah, like genuinely, like I want to see everyone succeed. That's my biggest goal, is seeing all of us succeed. That would be very hype though. 1013. So 1013 IFG -J call it a Jan entry, and then yeah, just simple 1 minute inversion, but you get 2R instead of 1. For real. All right, let's go look at that silver bullet now. From yesterday, it looks like Thursday. Man. Look how long we just generate liquidity. High resistant like all these people just getting wrecked. High resistant liquidity conditions over and over. And then all of a sudden, we hit that Reaper fair value gap. Yeah, he gave 25K to the Mr. Beast water thing. And I'm like, I mean, that's cool and all. But like, I don't know, man. I think the first step is just to make his mentorship free and to make his Discord free. I think, well, like, if he's really just feeling like he's sick of money, then just make his mentorship free. Make his Discord free. That should be step one, in my opinion. Like, no hate to him. I think he's doing great things, though. But personally, my teachings and my, like, Discord, and if I ever do a mentorship, it's always going to be free because, like, trading's already hard enough, and people already lose enough money trading. I don't want to make people struggle even more. I'd rather earn money in other ways, like through actually trading and through YouTube or through maybe like super chats or something. But like actually charging for mentorship after already being profitable, I don't get it. I personally don't get it. I don't, like the first step is just make your stuff free to help people because like people are losing money that you could help, and I think that should be priority. It's kind of how I feel though. But yeah, look at this high resistant liquidity conditions all through here. Important to recognize that. Yeah, but I don't get it because he's obviously not money hungry. Dodgy's obviously not money hungry because like he genuinely wants to give to charity and stuff. So I don't know. I think he's just used to his Discord costing money. He just hasn't even thought to make it free. It's just not something that crossed his mind. But personally, my stuff's always gonna be free. Huge ego. Wait, it was on ES, but NQ got the SMT. Oh, it was only on ES? So yeah, guys, when you see this, stop trying to long. Stop trying to long in these conditions. See, we get obvious market structure shift in here somewhere. I was a victim that day. No! Dang it. Yeah, guys, we just got to be aware of these high resistant liquidity conditions. Because, part of the time the market's going to be leaving liquidity for later, meaning it's going to be high resistant, and then the other time it's going to run that liquidity from before. And you can see that happens here. Yeah, I'm just going to put this on Thursday. High resistant liquidity conditions, be aware. And those conditions are there to create SMTs for ES to run smoother. I won that day. It was free. That's awesome. I love that. My dream is to one day observe high resistant liquidity conditions and then trade with it. You know how advanced that is? How sick that would be to be trading. You're so good at trading, it's high resistant liquidity, and then you are able to short to target those high resistant lows. You know how sick that'd be? You'd just be like, yeah, bro, I know it's high resistant. I'm that good. I can trade in high resistant conditions. How cool would that be? That should be your Twitter background. The high resistant liquidity conditions. I don't know. I kind of like my Twitter background. It's a cool picture, but it's so random. It has nothing to do with trading. But I don't know. I didn't know what to make my Twitter background, to be honest. And also, I'm done calling it Twitter. I'm just now realizing that I've been calling it Twitter in all my videos, and I'm like, dude, why am I still calling it Twitter? It's literally X, and I'm not one to care what people think of me. I'm gonna call it what it is. So other people aren't calling it Twitter, whatever. That's just not what it is. So I'm gonna call it X. I just keep forgetting to. I'm not gonna lie. Oh yeah, we were gonna look for a silver bullet on Thursday. Yeah, because, the first fair value gap, well, there's a fair value gap here, but I don't know, that's just not super obvious to me. Personally, I like this. It's a 2 minute for value gap. And I don't know, what do you guys think about this? But personally, I personally still consider this a fair value gap, even on the 1 minute, because personally, right, I understand how inefficiencies work, right? We came down and then up, then down again. This is still going to be a gap in price. But what do you guys actually? It's a BPR technically, so it's even stronger because we went down, then up, then down. So there's actually a low time frame BPR here. So this actually is arguably even stronger. But what do you guys think? I would still consider this a 1 minute for value gap. But do you think that's valid for me to do or not? Personally, I would. I trade both ES and NQ because my mentor TGR taught me that, and that it get you on the right side of the market. Yeah, it's important to check both. That was off the old NDOG. Oh yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy how everything lines. Yeah, I'm not asking for permission. I'm gonna call this a fair value gap. I'm not asking for, I don't ask people for permission. I just do. This is clearly a gap in price after a break of structure. So I'm not asking for permission. So sweep, break of structure, silver bullet gap, because it's after 10. And it's a 2022 model. Yeah, guys, don't pattern trade, because guess what? The market's running off of liquidity. I think Dodgy was like making fun of me because he was like, guys, IFGs don't work. The only thing that matters is liquidity. And I feel like that's kind of like what I say sometimes. But I don't think he was, because I don't think I'm that relevant. But I do think IFGs matter. It's just liquidity matters the most. I don't know. That's what I think. So just to kind of just prove a point, like I'm just gonna call these 2022 silver bullets. Oh yeah, whichever one had. I get what you're saying. The S&T, the stronger S&T will be typically stronger. I know exactly what you're talking about. That's totally true though. So, and I think whenever we have a silver bullet trade, it's going to be helpful to mark out 10 a.m. because, the silver bullet is after 10 a.m. Oh, and you guys know why silver bullet is even, relevant? Like, why after 10 a.m.? Why does that even matter? Why? Because 10 a.m. is when a new 4-hour candle forms. Like, conceptualize that. Like, 10 a.m., we're going to have a new 4-hour candle. And so that means that whichever way it's going to expand, it's going to start expanding. And then whenever we get that break of structure and for value gap, it's going to be high probability because a new candle formed. So yeah, 10 a.m. is right there. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Haney gets it. Haney gets it. You might even just make a vertical line, to be honest. Dodgy made fun of you video, dude. Oh, you watched that video? That video was crazy. That video is so long ago, but it's crazy. Isn't it? Yeah, I mean, genuinely crazy video, but it happened. Oh, I was going to also mark out equilibrium. I'm stupid. I didn't need to draw a new one. Okay. Silver bullet right there. Right there, baby. Bang. I was upset. Yeah, it's okay. It was a long time ago. It's just annoying. Like, genuinely, I was telling him something cool because I thought he would like it, and he's just, no, let's just make a video making fun of him to the entire Discord. I mean, obviously, I get, like, he wasn't making fun of me, but still, like, I don't think he needed to make the video to the whole Discord saying, don't be like this guy. I thought that was a little much. $10, $17, silver bullet. 20. I'm gonna call it 20 because that's what it is, right? It's a 2022 model. That's a silver bullet, so 2022 silver bullet. And then this is on Thursday. Oh, I gotta put it in Thursday then. 10/17, 2022 silver bullet on the 1 minute chart. Bang. It was so sad. I know. It's like crazy. Well, I was a little, yeah. I don't know, man. I'm not here to try and tell Dodgy how to trade. He's already profitable. Like, I get it. Like, sometimes, you just find what works for you and you never change it. But personally, for me, I'm always going to be a student of the market, always learning and always trying to make my trading better because I don't believe it's just one, I don't think it's such a narrow-minded thing. I think you're constantly improving your trading and you learn from your losses and you evolve it. It's not just there's 1,000, like I think Kane said it like this, like there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. Like this is the game, the cat being the market. Like there's 1,000 ways to be profitable in the same market, and the more things you can implement that you've observed about price action, the better your trading gets. And I don't think that it's just one way is the correct way. There's a whole bunch of correct ways, and it's just your skill getting better over time. That's how I see it. And that's why I trade 3 models. So, right, this same thing here, right? We hit that Reaper fair value gap. This is a really cool thing. We hit that Reaper fair value gap, and that was also a first presented fair value gap. Right, this was the, one of the craziest gaps you'll ever see. I'm going to actually mark it out like this. This is such a powerful gap here. If you ever see this, full port with a tight stop loss. Just see what happens. It's probably worth it. Not financial advice. Keep grinding, bro. Following you to profitability. Yes, sir. We're all on the journey. We're all locked in. Here we go. Yeah, this fair value gap genuinely had superpowers because it was both Reaper and first presented. So then what happens? Well, after we hit that insanely powerful level, which was already super high confluence, we get breaks. We get displacement and we get breaks of structure. You see this? Every single time we get this displacement, these fair value gaps just start holding. And this is when oh crap, the algorithm's going again, right? This is the moment when when you see these algorithmic breaks like this, oh crap, the algorithm's going again, right? Because every single time we break structure, these fair value gaps all hold. And so you're like, oh, okay, they're running the market back towards those highs. And so every 2022 gap, just another entry for smart money. It's crazy, but it's happening, right? Objectively. All right, sounds good, Henny. I'll talk to you later. FA king of gambling. FA is like so good at trading though that it's like even when he's gambling, he's still trading because he's just that good at trading. Like it's just kind of funny. I mean, just be an observer of the market. Stop listening to what everyone else tells you and observe how the market behaves. And you'll learn so much more doing trading that way than you will any other way. And then what happens? Finally, we go run all these low resistance highs. And then we keep going up to these low resistance highs. It's crazy what the market will teach you if you just, watch it. Yo, random guy, what up? You made it. Genuinely, like, you can learn so much just from watching and observing. FA was trading all this, though. That was the crazy thing. FA was actually getting in on all this. So it was high resistant liquidity conditions until, we're just breaking structure over and over again. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, it's not really high resistant anymore. It's algorithmic now. And then you can see that every single fair value gap holds, and then we drive up to those low resistance highs. This fair value gap was literally like I'm going to literally pull up the little star power from Mario. I'm going to plop it in there. Star. Honestly, anytime I see a Reaper overlap with the first percent fair value gap and be the same exact fair value gap, I'm literally calling it the superstar gap, dude. This thing is not going to fail. Like, you might as well full port it with a tight stop loss just in case. Oh my. This thing ain't failing, dude. I'm not. I honestly want to use this. This thing is not failing. Ever. I'm saving that image. That's a good image. I'm calling this the superstar gap from now on. I mean, how often will you see this? Probably like once every 6 months or once a year. But dude, when you do see it, it's going to be crazy. Oh wait, I meant to save that as just superstar. Whatever. Actually, I'm just going to redo it. This thing is not failing. What day was this? Thursday? 14-16. Superstar gap. That's great. Jan just got his 21st payout. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. I need to get some Top Step accounts. Improved just full port. Oh my gosh. I might end the stream. I know, you know, it depends how. If there's people watching it, then I might keep it going. But I think I might end the stream. Man, there's just so much to look at. I feel like no matter what, I can never review all of it. That was only 2 watching, so I'm gonna end it. Um, Man, Jen's on his 21st payout. It's just crazy. All right, we just gotta keep going. We just gotta keep going. And yeah, I'll see you guys later.